Hey everyone, this is Renee. Welcome to my channel. This is my daughter Rashana.
Hey y'all.
We're here to tell you about our experience on our first family trip to Europe. And let me tell you, it was adventurous, wasn't it?
Yeah, we are some Dora the Explorers out there for sure.
Now, we actually, when she was how old were you back then?
A kid.
A kid. And she was into the Cheetah Girls, and so we watched their movies, and so we saw the Cheetah Girls movie too, where they went to Europe, Barcelona, Spain, and we were just so in love with that movie, and we decided one day we were gonna go. And some odd years, many years later, we finally made that trip together. And so let's start with the day that we left. So I had packed my luggage, so I had a carry-on, and then I had the rest of my clothes. We were going to be in Barcelona for one day, so when we got to Barcelona, we knew we had to hit the ground running because we had to cover some things. Well, we had a list of things that must do, and one of them for me was to have paella dish. And what was yours for Spain?
I wanted to see the Sagrada Familia.
Did we go there? Or...
Yes, we went there. Yeah.
Okay. So we had, and excuse me, I have a cough ever since I got back. But anyway, so day one, I'm outside, my luggage. Normally she has to come inside and get my luggage, but she was on her way. So I'm outside with my luggage. We're getting to the airport at least 3 hours early. We get there, we're waiting, we're checked in, everything went smoothly, and a half hour before it was time to leave, our flight got canceled. So I'll let you take over from here.
Yeah, so basically, we were flying with American, and the app told us that our flight was canceled, and here goes her. What? Oh my God. And I'm like, Mom, just relax. Just relax. There's literally nothing we can do about the situation until they tell us what we have options to do. So fast forward anyway, so I'm standing at the desk to ask her about the flight being canceled, and basically because we have a connecting flight in JFK that we're supposed to make. Granted, we had like a 2-hour layover there, so we had a little bit of wiggle room, but I'm just like, how are we gonna get there? So she makes an announcement before she calls me up, and she's basically like, the flight to JFK is canceled. We can reroute the flights. Please come up to the desk. So I was the first in line. She asked for the boarding passes, blah, 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 asked us where we were going, let her know. So she was like, let me find your guys' luggages. So what do your luggages look like? I told her what mine looks like. I told her what my mother's looks like. And I was, I could have pulled up a picture. I was like, do you want to see pictures of that? I think I found it. I explained, I'm like, it's navy blue. It looks just like her carry-on over there. Whatever. She was like, yeah, I think I see both of them. Okay. When she said, I think, I'm like, that's not reassuring. I should have asked her, can I see myself? But I didn't. I trusted her, because she was hooking us up. She got us those Comfort Plus seats on the next flight. So I was cool, flying to Chicago. We get on the flight to Chicago. A lady's on the flight, and we can't take off because the managers are on the flight, and I guess her bag wasn't on there. So they're trying to help her find her bag and make sure it makes it to the flight. And I was like, Mom, should I ask about our bag? Because one of the bags is saying it didn't scan. And that's, raising flags. And I was like, nah. So I didn't. And of course, that bag was not on the flight. So it was just a guess of whose bag it was. I'm like, whose bag you think it is, Mom? She was like, I hope it's yours. It's easier to buy you clothes than it is, for me to go find some clothes out here. So I was like, okay. We get to baggage claim in Barcelona. Guess whose bag it was?
And even before we get to Barcelona, we had gotten our euros in Chicago. And, I waited all year, planning that all year to go on this trip and to already start off the trip where the first flight is canceled. So just to give you a little backdrop, I was on my way to a conference, which was on a cruise but we went a day early so that we'd have, just in case there were any delays. So, I mean, my mindset was already prepared. If something goes wrong, we'll be there a day ahead of time. So, to fast forward, now we're in Barcelona, which is a different speaking language speaking country. So we're trying to tell well, first of all, we get
Wasn't
off
we?
we get off the flight and we had to go through customs. And I'm telling you, it had to be what, 5 planes at one time that
Something.
let out their people, and the line was extremely long. And I had to go to the ladies' room so bad. So we were kind of walking. So their airport was a little different when you get off the plane than our airport. So we finally saw a restroom sign pointing downstairs, which it was at least 5 flights down, walking stairs. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because, fast paced, everybody's moving towards the customs line. So we get down, and then I saw the line, how long the line was once we were stopped. And I was like, I got to go. There's no way I can hold it. And so anyway, I walk all the way back, go all the way down, go to the restroom, and go to the bathroom. And then I come back. Well, there's all types of nationalities on the flight. And it was almost, people were elbowing, walking over you.
Got their kids over here snaking in between your legs and stuff. People's luggage is rolling over my toes. To the point I just had to, do this stance. Just.
It was awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get through customs. Now we find out my bag is not there. And so there was another couple that went on the trip as well. So they had already texted me like, hey, your driver's here. I told him you're coming. You're right behind us. And so, already that line was long to get through customs. We find out I don't have my bag. We go up to the security person and we're trying to explain like, hey, where do you go when your bag doesn't come in? He's like, I don't speak English. He didn't say that, but that's basically what he was saying in his language. So the fun was continuing.
So basically, of course, I'm the one who's standing in the line for her, being a nice daughter and all. Ends up, that line barely is moving because there's only 2 agents at the desk, and the desk is for like multiple airlines, but it's American and then a whole bunch of international airlines. So come to find out, after a half hour of standing in the line, that only one of the ladies is actually able to help American airline passengers, and majority of the people in the line are from our flight or had the same situation happen where their flight got canceled and they were supposed to, fly to New York, and that didn't happen. So we're all in the same situation that somebody's bag in the family or in the group got lost. So we're just standing there forever and ever and ever. My mom, she's outside texting me like, the driver's waiting. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want me to get out of line? Because they said we have to stand in line and let them know that the bag is lost so we can, organize how to get it. And when I was checking the app, it said it was still in JFK. So everybody's like, all these old folk. They're like, yeah, if you look at the app, you can track the bag. I can see that mine's in Brow. I'm like, right, I understand. And that's how I know the bag is in JFK. Thank you. Like, how you 80-something telling me about an app? Like, but thank you. Anyway, so she's texted me, and then I'm like, I'm letting her know. I was like, the line's long. At this point, you can just go. She's like, well, do you want me to come stand in line and you go? I'm like, Mother, it's your first time in Europe. Like, get in the car with the driver. You know that it's set to take you to where you need to go.
So at this point, we're separated.
She was tapping me so she can.
Yeah,
I was telling the story.
I was inside with her, and I said, let me go out there because I knew the driver was there. And now we're like an hour on the inside. So I go outside, and the driver's not there. There's many people out there holding up a sign with names, and my name was nowhere to be found. So anyway, I was going through my paperwork, and so I found the name of the company and their phone number to call them and say, hey, the driver's not here. We're here. We had already called in advance once we found out our flight was delayed. We were coming in later than earlier. So anyway, the driver comes back, and so he, after a while, of him waiting for a minute, the company calls me to say, hey, he can't wait anymore. He has to go. So then, I told him, go ahead. I'm not going to leave my daughter here. We're in another country. I'm not about to leave her. We're not about to separate. And so, these are things that we paid in advance. So anyway, the driver was real nice. Wasn't acting like he had to go or anything like that. So anyway, that's when I called her and she said, Mom, you go and I'll just catch a taxi over. So, because she said that, I went ahead and took the driver over, and I'll insert the picture here. So anyway, I go to the hotel, and I get inside, and so I'm out. I check in, and I'm trying to get into the our room, and nothing was working. I'm like scanning and scanning and scanning, and then after about 10 minutes, I realized I just took my time because I had her luggage, I had my carry on, and so a lot, we had, you know, been flying now and was at the airport, like we're talking like a 24-hour span. So, and there are a 6 hour difference.
Definitely 14 hours.
Okay, but I'm even saying when we left the house and went to the airport and then went to Chicago.
Since being awake.
We were in Chicago for 5 hours and then we got on that flight. So anyway, and then I was talking to the driver, whom was really nice. And when I got out, I did some research ahead of time. Do we tip? And do we tip in our money, their money? How does this work? And so, they said, they don't tip like we do here in America. So, but anyway, we get there and I was talking to the driver about it. And so I was asking him like, I want some paella and, can you recommend a place? Which he did. And we did go to that place, which we'll get to later. And then he was like, he was suggesting, he's like, he said, just go in and check in. And he said, and then take what is it, La Fiesta? He said, and then get back up. He said, and then, you should get caught up in time. And by that time, my daughter had gotten there. But anyway, their hotel, to get into the room, you have to slide the key in versus scan it. So I figured that out. Then I get in the room, and of course, I'm filming me walking in the room, for my content. And then I couldn't turn on the lights. And so it wasn't until after I finished, or were you there by then?
Yeah.
So by the time she comes, I said I couldn't turn on the lights. And so there was a little thing at the door that you put your key in, and that turns on the lights in the room. So now we're in Barcelona. So we did take a nap, as he suggested, and then we got up and then we got ready to go have a bite to eat. I don't know if you want to pick up from here. We hit the ground running because we knew we were going to be in Barcelona for 24 hours and we had some ground to cover.
Yep. So, as I said, I wanted to see the Sagrada Familia, but we first went to go get food. Like she said, we were whooped, me especially, because I just got done standing in that line to get help for 5 minutes because that lady was about to be off in 5 minutes. So she rushed me through the process and barely spoke any English and had an attitude with me, which I thought was wild because I sat here for an hour and a half. You saw me in this line for an hour and a half, and then you sat here and rushed me. I'm not even clear if the bag's gonna make it at this point. But anyway, get there, whatever, shower, took a nap. I probably was asleep for a good 30 minutes because the housekeeper came, knocked on our door, and walked in because, of course, we were asleep, so no one answered. And then we didn't realize until she was in the room. So that was that. So we got ready, ordered a taxi, or not ordered a taxi. We went and caught a taxi outside of our hotel to the paella place that the driver recommended. We get there and we walk across the street. We're about to go in the place. And I was like, oh, let me take a picture. I don't have my phone. It's in the taxi. So I'm like, I'm not panicking, but like, I'm just like, this would be something I do. Like, it's the first day and I already lost my phone. Like, come on now.
Now, mind you, before we left, I was, watching videos just, because you can go to TikTok and YouTube and you can find places to go ahead of time. And she had sent me a TikTok video of a woman that had gone to Barcelona, and she was saying that it cost her $10,000. So you watch the video and come to find out she got pickpocketed for her cell phone, which not 10,000, 1,000, and someone took her phone. And so we get out the car, we go inside, we're just scouting out the place because they had outdoor seating, indoor seating, and we didn't know. We get inside, and then she's like, my phone. Okay, we just got to Barcelona.
Yeah, so moral of the story, I got my phone back. I was able to ping it and then call it, and the driver heard it, so he answered. I was like, hi, I left my phone. Can you bring it back? He handed the phone to the lady who was in the car getting a ride at the time because she spoke better English. She's like, he said he'll drop it off after he leaves here. What's the address? I was like, it's the restaurant, such and such on this street. So she's like, okay, he'll come back or whatever. He said, give him 30 minutes. I said, okay. So I was watching the location. I stood outside for a good 30 minutes. And here indeed, he brought my phone back. He definitely charged me for the ride from wherever he took that lady to drive it back to me, which was fine, although I tipped him. So pretty much overpaid him, but it's okay. I was grateful that I got my phone back because he could have definitely just went on about his day. So
yeah.
Yep.
Because, I was trying to stay calm and not panic because they don't speak English. We're not familiar with the taxi service. We at the time didn't know how we were going to get it back, but we just, like she said, what she did to get her phone back.
I don't know how I was going to get it back.
But in the meantime,
my phone back. I was just determined.
I'm inside the restaurant sitting there waiting for her, and the waiters are coming back and forth to the table like, are you ready to order? Are you ready to order? Are you ready to order? And I'm like, well, I'm waiting on my daughter. I'm waiting on my daughter. I'm waiting on my daughter. And then finally she walks in, and then we order dinner. We ordered the paella, which was very delicious. It was everything that that I expected. We had some drinks. What did you order for a drink?
We had some drinks. I had a drink. I had a margarita, which I didn't know what else to order, which when I looked around at everybody else, they were having bottles of wine at their table just sitting there. So yeah, but I ordered a margarita, and that margarita was margarita.
Not only bottles of they had bottles of water too. But I ordered a pina colada.
At the restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a virgin one, but yeah. And it was very delicious. What else did we have? Was that it? That was all that we ordered?
She was eating some olives and she was smacking them.
Oh, the olives were the best olives that I ever tasted.
Exhibit A.
The best.
She told every waiter that walked past.
And then from there, we jumped in the taxi, and then we went back to the hotel.
Yeah. Went back to the hotel. She changed her shoes, and then we went and caught another. Well, we went downstairs and asked the front desk, like, what's the best route of, like, if we want to see the Sagrada Familia, if we want to see, go to the name is slipping my mind. It's the park with the stairs. You guys know what I'm talking about. But, so he was like, you guys can take the bus. It's like a hop on, hop off type experience. You can just, get off where you want to, stay on when you want to and stuff, and you get to see the city. So we're like, okay, cool. He was like, you just got to go up to the street and then you'll see a red tent. So I was like, all right, Mom, I'll walk over there and I'll come back. I walked over there. I did not find the red tent. And the tent that I did find, it was for like a hop on, hop off bus, but it was closed. So I was just like, so we ended up just taking a taxi up to Sagrada Familia. We got out, we took our pictures, and then we got back in a taxi and rode it to the park. But the park was, you had to either book your admission ahead of time if they were sold out at the time, but we just decided we weren't walking through the park. So yep.
So needless to say, we spent most of our euros there just taking taxis and tipping. We over tipped, but it was okay. It was our first trip and we wanted the full experience. And so the next day is when we got up to head to the cruise. And so stay tuned for that story. Bye for now.